Big Blue, stop right now. MetLife Stadium just exploded with breaking news. And one single quote is setting the entire NFC East on fire. Take your behind back to Baltimore. Former NFL MVP Cam Newton drops an absolute verbal grenade on John Harbaugh's leadership. Defensive coordinator Denard Wilson makes a huge admission about Deonte Banks, and the true health status of Malik Nabers just leaked ahead of training camp. Insiders confirmed the Giants are officially launching their season, and here is the immediate payoff. Newton publicly torched Harbaugh's viral hype speech, calling it middle school amateur hour that disrespects grown professionals. If you bleed blue, white, and red and want to see the Cowboys crumble, smash like and subscribe right now. We begin with the coaching controversy that has New York buzzing. Stay locked, because a double cliffhanger is waiting at the very end. It started with a viral video meant to rally the locker room, but a former MVP just ripped the veil off John Harbaugh's entire motivational approach. The outspoken personality torching New York's new head coach today, Cam Newton, and his sharp commentary on his 4th and 1 podcast has split the fan base wide open. Harbaugh made headlines earlier this offseason when video surfaced of him repeatedly screaming "New York Giants" at his roster, demanding higher energy and decibel levels from his players and staff. Newton did not hold back, telling Harbaugh to take his behind right back to Baltimore. Newton argued that NFL players are seasoned professionals who need vision, tactical mission, and clear leadership identity rather than middle school-style cheerleading. While many fans instinctively want to defend their new head coach, Newton's words carry substantial weight across the league. He spent years playing under Ron Rivera in Carolina and Bill Belichick in New England, giving him a deep understanding of what truly inspires elite athletes beyond contract money and basic win totals. The debate now centers on whether Harbaugh's old-school rah-rah approach, which proved wildly successful during his 2 decades in Baltimore, can actually translate to a modern Giants locker room that is desperate for real technical structure. When an accomplished quarterback publicly questions your culture before camp even starts, it creates immediate pressure across sports media. Newton questioned what the team's identity will actually be under Harbaugh, asking whether shouting the team's name is supposed to substitute for actual tactical evolution on Sundays. In a market like New York, every word from a head coach gets scrutinized under a powerful microscope. If these high-energy speeches fail to produce wins early in the 2026 regular season, the media backlash against Harbaugh will be relentless. Veteran players in the building might secretly agree with Newton, preferring a calm, methodical breakdown of game plans over emotional pre-practice shouting matches. On the other hand, Harbaugh has amassed nearly 200 NFL wins and a Super Bowl ring using these exact methods to build unshakable locker room chemistry. Proponents of Harbaugh argue that establishing pride in the jersey is step 1 when taking over a franchise that has suffered through years of losing culture. Furthermore, the team is currently documenting their entire rebuilding process on their off-season show, meaning every motivational attempt is amplified for public consumption. What makes this feud even more fascinating is how it highlights the generational divide between old-school coaching philosophies and modern player expectations. Newton pointed out that professional athletes in 2026 expect detailed tactical schematics and personal development roadmaps rather than loud slogans during minicamp. If Harbaugh cannot bridge that gap and earn authentic buy-in from key veterans, the locker room culture could splinter the moment adversity hits during division play. If the team responds with high-octane football on Sundays, Newton's criticism will look like unnecessary noise. But if the offense sputters early, critics will echo Newton's warning that gimmicks don't win division titles. Do you think Cam Newton has a valid point about Harbaugh's speech, or should he stay out of Big Blue's business? Drop your take in the comments below. If you trust Harbaugh to bring championship discipline back to New York, hit that like button and let Cowboys fans know who runs the East. But as fiery as this head coaching debate gets, our next story cuts straight into the heart of Denard Wilson's brand new secondary. Because while critics question the coaching style, a former first-round corner is getting one final chance at redemption. Major breakout or final roster cut? Stay locked. Scouts called his athletic profile elite, but after 2 straight years of inconsistent tape, many assumed his time in New York was effectively over. The 23-year-old defensive back getting a surprise lifeline today? Deonte Banks and defensive coordinator Denard Wilson just opened the door for a massive career revival. After being drafted 24th overall in 2023, Banks saw his production collapse under previous DC Shane Bowen, starting just 6 games in 2025, while ranking near the absolute bottom of Pro Football Focus coverage grades. The front office even declined his 5th-year option worth $12.6 million, making 2026 the final year under team control and signaling an uncertain future as trade rumors swirled ahead of training camp. However, Wilson completely flipped the narrative during his press conference, revealing that Banks had a hell of an offseason and is actively running toward coaching rather than hiding from it. Wilson emphasized that the number 2 cornerback spot opposite free agent signee Paulson Adebo is an open competition between Banks, rookie second-round pick Colton Hood, and offseason acquisition Greg Newsome too. Banks struggled with undisciplined penalties and tackling angles last year, but Wilson's new pressman scheme mirrors the exact system Wink Martindale ran during Banks' promising rookie campaign when he logged 2 interceptions and 11 pass breakups. According to sources close to the facility, this is a rumor. Wilson has personally held private film sessions with Banks every morning to rebuild his confidence and fix his ball tracking mechanics. Players in the locker room want to see Banks succeed, and the coaching staff is fully invested in helping him become the best version of himself, rather than pressuring him to live up to his first-round pedigree. Wilson noted that both he and Banks are Maryland Terrapins alumni, creating an immediate personal connection and trust between player and caller. Instead of letting Banks slide down the depth chart, Wilson is challenging him to bring violent, suffocating physical coverage to the perimeter. The cornerback room features heavy monetary investments in Adebo and safety Jevon Holland, meaning Banks does not need to carry the secondary alone, but having a former top pick click at CB2 would transform the defense's ceiling. Training camp battles against physical receivers at practice will give Banks the perfect platform to prove his off-season transformation is real. The tactical shift under Wilson cannot be overstated, as his defense relies heavily on aggressive single-high safety looks that force outside cornerbacks into true island coverage. That style aligns perfectly with Banks' 6'2", 200-pound frame and raw 4.35 speed, allowing him to use physical jam technique at the line of scrimmage rather than playing soft cushion coverage. If Wilson can unlock that physical confidence, Banks goes from a potential roster casualty to a premier matchup weapon against physical receivers in the NFC East. If Banks secures the starting outside job alongside Adebo, Big Blue could quietly possess one of the longest, most aggressive cornerback duos in the entire NFC. On the flip side, if rookie Colton Hood outplays him in preseason games, Banks could face a mid-camp trade or roster bubble situation. Can Deonte Banks bounce back and win the starting job this summer? Let us know in the comments below. Smash like if you believe Denard Wilson will fix this defense. But while the secondary battles for position, a concerning medical update regarding the team's ultimate offensive weapon just sent shockwaves through the front office. Avoiding the PUP list wasn't the full truth? Stay locked. The headlines brought instant relief over the weekend when the front office officially kept their superstar receiver off the physically unable to perform list, the explosive primary weapon everyone is monitoring, Malik NABERS, and new reports confirm that avoiding the PUP list does not mean he is fully healthy. NABERS suffered a severe right knee injury last season, undergoing an initial ACL and meniscus repair followed by a second procedure to clear out lingering joint discomfort earlier this summer. While fans celebrated his absence from the PUP list as proof of a complete recovery, Giants insider Dan Dugan clarified that the decision was made strictly for procedural flexibility. Being kept off the PUP list allows the training staff to gradually integrate NABERS into light positional drills, route running, and walkthroughs as his rehab progresses, whereas a PUP designation would have locked him strictly into weight room work with trainers during practice hours and sidelined him for the first 4 weeks of the regular season. Head coach John Harbaugh admitted that NABERS is dealing with a complex recovery process and remains in the daily grind of regaining full knee strength. Multiple reports suggest that while the team is optimistic about his long-term trajectory, there is still genuine uncertainty regarding his full availability for Week 1 of the 2026 regular season against the Dallas Cowboys. The front office added Darnell Mooney, Juju Smith-Schuster, Calvin Austin, and draft pick Malachi Fields this offseason. But make no mistake, this offense revolves entirely around NABERS' ability to win one-on-one matchups downfield and stretch defensive safeties wide. Pushing him back onto the field too quickly risks a major setback, forcing the medical staff to walk a delicate tightrope between building team chemistry with Jackson Dart and protecting their franchise cornerstone. Insiders emphasize that the Giants plan to monitor his snap counts closely during team periods at training camp, keeping him away from heavy full-contact scrimmage reps until his knee shows zero post-workout swelling. A healthy NABERS gives Jackson Dart an elite target who can turn quick slants into 70-yard touchdowns, making his rehabilitation the single most important storyline of August. What fans need to understand is that ACL rehab isn't just about structural bone healing. It requires rebuilding explosive cutting muscle memory and trusting the joint on hard turf stops. The Giants coaching staff knows that rushing NABERS back at 80% strength could derail his entire long-term development, which is why they are designing contingency game plans that feature heavy 2 tight end sets with Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson. If NABERS misses the season opener, the offensive staff will have to rely heavily on those two tight end sets and run heavy game plans to keep drives moving. However, if his knee responds well to progressive workload spikes over the next 3 weeks, the offense could be fully intact when division play kicks off. The coming weeks at White Sulphur Springs will reveal just how much workload his knee can handle under full speed. Do you think the Giants should rest Malik Nabers until week 3 to ensure he is 100%? Drop your thoughts below. If you believe Nabers will dominate the NFC East the moment he steps on the field, hit like and subscribe to keep the skyline rising. But we are far from finished because the real storm is just starting to gather. 3 massive storylines, one defining crossroads for New York football. Cam Newton's fiery attack on John Harbaugh raises the stakes for team culture. Denard Wilson gives Deonte Banks a final chance to salvage his career, and the medical staff carefully manages Malik Nabers' return to the field. Big Blue isn't walking into a quiet training camp. This franchise is entering a pressure cooker where every speech, every secondary rep, and every medical report will be dissected nationwide. If Harbaugh's intensity unifies the locker room and Banks reclaims his rookie form, the Giants will possess the physical edge required to shock the division. The math is simple. New York's success hinges on aggressive defensive execution, elite leadership buy-in, and health at the skill positions. The stage is set at White Sulphur Springs. But the true test begins when the pads pop this week. Here is what you need to do right now, Big Blue Nation. 1. Smash that like button if you believe John Harbaugh will prove Cam Newton wrong and lead the Giants to a division title. 2. Drop a comment with your prediction for Deonte Banks. Will he start at cornerback or get traded before September? 3. Subscribe immediately because every new subscriber proves that Big Blue Nation stands united behind this team. But listen closely because the edge of the cliff is right here. Reports are leaking that Joe Schoen is finalizing a contract offer for a free agent pass rusher, and the announcement could drop before tomorrow's practice. On top of that, according to sources, the Philadelphia Eagles just opened cap room to make a competing offer to the exact same defender. Which side wins the bidding war, New York or Philly? Plus, a rumor is circulating that a veteran player called out the team during a late-night meeting at the Greenbrier, demanding absolute focus following Newton's viral comments. That full breakdown drops in our next video. If New York stands tall, the rest of the division falls. Subscribe, raise the skyline in the comments, and let's own the NFC East. See you at the top.